Hello, everyone. Welcome to TV Book Club Evangelion Part Two. I feel like we've been watching the first four episodes of Evangelion for 2 months because we kind of
Turns out this
have.
is like the entire series.
You
There
know,
are only four episodes.
sometimes
The rest are fake.
when you talk about the Dead Sea Scrolls, things just happen. It's all going according to the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Shut up.
Watching these episodes on repeat, I feel like Shinji when he comes out of the Evangelion. My mind's a wreck. I don't know what to make sense of anymore.
Josh, stop referencing things we don't know yet.
Okay, man, I'm just saying, we're
Yes,
all just
yes.
doing it.
So, yes, we are finally talking about episodes 3 and 4. This is also the week I learned why do the episodes have two names.
Um, Episodes really have two names, mostly because there is the Japanese one, and then there is just it's sort of like a A side and B side. That's what I kind of get from it.
Well, didn't Twin Peaks have like two different?
But that was
The names
different
come from
though,
like the
because
They come from like the German release, but then like Lynch decided like, oh no, they're the canonical name.
they didn't have the Twin Peaks episodes didn't have names, and then yeah, in like Germany or somewhere they broadcast names.
Yeah, like Lynch decided, oh, it's canon now.
Whereas these are written on the interstitial screens.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you know the title of this episode? Episode 3.
Episode 3 is the phone that never rings and a transfer.
Interesting
Phone
because
that sounds like a creepypasta.
it's. I love that the title of the episodes because they say something, yet sometimes maybe have something to do with an episode, and sometimes it just doesn't. But it all plays into each other. Even like sometimes one title is stronger than the other.
I made a mistake.
A
We
phone that never rings is awesome.
It is awesome, but we forgot
A
to
tra-
introduce ourselves.
It's fine. Hello, I am Josh Rios, also known as Left Hand, Right Hand, or Two Shoes.
I don't understand.
I am
I'm David,
Jamie.
and I
Also,
don't understand what
oh,
Josh is saying. It's a reference I don't get.
I am Jamie. I'm also known as Biggest Dicker. And that is all.
That is not true. No one calls you that.
You're trying to make it a thing and it's not happening.
Never say that again.
What? I'm just following. I'm just following the ebb and flow.
But yes, the phone that never rings is like it sounds like an awesome short story from like the 50s.
Yeah, it's like a phone which like gives you like contact like alien shit.
Or it's
Like
an
you pick up the phone and you get like the wow signal coming through. It's like aliens trying to communicate.
it's an altered object from
That's
Control.
what it would be. Yeah, yeah, it's a phone from Control. There you go. It's an SCP.
Please, no, don't do this. I'm trying. Oh God, too many games.
Hey, he's
Um.
been doing it to me too. You're not alone.
So,
Anyway,
David, tell me about this episode, episode 3,
so episode
the
3
phone that never
starts
rings.
with Shinji mid training in Ava, where we find out that the Avas. I mean, we knew they had that giant cord, but it is a power cord, and they can run. They run off that, and if it disconnects, they can have a 1 to 5 minute battery life, depending on how active the Ava is. And we see Shinji
So it's
like
like a
really
Samsung phone.
zoning out as he shoots targets.
And he's kind of shooting these targets mindlessly.
Yeah, he's like shell shocked
Rins.
already.
I, it doesn't feel like shell shock to me. You know what it feels like to
It's
me?
ang.
It feels like what I imagine like doing a factory job would be, which is just left hand grab can, right hand grab top, left hand grab can, right hand grab top. Like, because at
I
this
am
point,
Bender. Please insert girder.
like Shinji is continually to do what he is told to do, and it kind of I feel like that opening scene really exemplifies that.
Yes, I definitely agree. And I also want to say, like, the Avas have like really. The more we see of them, the more interesting their designs are because they're so like weird and lithe and humanoid, and they kind of remind me of the just the way the figures in JoJo work. Because I mean they're not like posing like that, but it's just very like exaggerated,
Yeah,
though
they're
super
very
creepy.
yes, but they just feel like alien mechs. Like it's just like that's what like they've come from outer space. They were maybe built by humans, maybe not, and it's sort of just like they feel like alien. Like it reminds me of like a Power Ranger, like the end boss of like a Power Ranger when they get into the Zords, and it's just like, oh, they're fighting this thing. That's what they look like. They look like the enemy of the week. Just a
Okay.
weird monster.
Yes, fighting other weird monsters.
Yeah.
So,
They-
and then I also have a note here that there's a news broadcast that we like hear in the background of the apartment scene. That really just
mhm.
shows how fucked up the world is after the. Because this is also the episode where we get some of the history lesson. That's also just in the background.
About
Um,
how there's not really seasons anymore.
yeah, there's no seasons. It's just like summer all the time. Fish like were almost extinct and are like
Does that mean
returning
there's
to
no
the
more
ocean.
Halloween?
It
What's
means it's
Halloween?
Halloween all the time.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that'd be great if just like everything was like perpetually in fall.
yeah, but then yeah, so we get the school lesson, yeah, where we find out that what like there was the angels like maybe came from space. There was an impact in the Arctic that like fucked everything.
You mean the second impact?
The second impact, yeah, whatever. What's the first impact?
We'll get to that later.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is how the show's giving us the information too. Like it is technically like a school lecture, but none of the kids are paying attention to it, and it's like it's almost like you're not really supposed to pay attention to this either. It's here,
But
but not important.
yeah, I I think when I watched this like on my rewatch, I originally thought of the kids who grew up after 9/11. Sorry to we're really close to that anniversary, but it's the kids who like grew up afterwards, in which it's just like it's not as strong as it is for like my generation of people, in which you were elementary school kids doing it, but it's sort of just like the kids who were in elementary school years after when they discuss September 11th. It's sort of that same thing, in
Like
which I don't.
like me.
Yeah,
I relate. Yeah.
it's a big deal, but you've probably been taught this like ever since that time over and over again, so it doesn't really have the impact. It's sort of like when somebody says, World War II. David, how
Yeah, I
much do
was
you
just
care
about to
about
say
World
World
War
War Two.
II?
Well, I mean, the Nazis have been the like bad guys, so like that one's a little different.
Yeah, they're like the standard villain
All
in
right,
every.
cool. Let me rephrase that. The Vietnam War. Do you feel anything about the Vietnam War?
I mean,
Not
to be
really.
honest, I do find the Vietnam War to be quite horrifying. Hearing about it,
I mean, I do
Okay.
really
I
like
don't think it's lost any impact from like people growing up in that era or people who were fighting in. With me at least, I
they've
still
it's
feel
there's also
shocked by what
Vietnam.
I
There's
hear.
been so many movies about the horrors of the war, and like
Yeah, but there's
and
been
like
so many movies about the horrors of World War Two as well.
well, I know, but like I love Jacob's Ladder so much.
Jacob's Ladder, so you're not like Deer Hunter or
Oh, I haven't
Apocalypse
seen Deer
Now
Hunter.
two. You ain't seen Deer Hunter. You ain't seen a
Shut
3 hour
up.
Vietnam drama. Oh my
But
god, I am shocked.
to bring it back, guys. So that's how I think like this lesson about the second impact is for them. It's just like a younger generation at a certain point, it doesn't matter that much to them, but something in their time. Also, they've dealt with like an Ava attack, and I
Yeah.
don't think anyone's mind is really on. Oh, we're gonna give the history of when the world got fucked up. It's like we've known the world's been fucked up. We lived in this fucked up world for a while.
Yes. Well, and this is also again the first angel attack in 15 years. The last one from last week's. the first our first episode. Um,
Yeah.
and I do like that Shinji's going to school. They're not just like holding him as some sort of weird child prisoner to fight to get in the fucking robot. And like Ray's going to school too, which is weird. But we'll talk about that more later. And this is where yeah we're also introduced to Suzuhara and Ida. Um, I guess Shinji's friends,
Oh,
or
you call them by their last names. I just call them Kensuke and Toji.
Wow, that you don't know how rude that is, Josh. You are culturally insane.
you are not their friends. Also, I don't remember
What
the
a
one. I don't remember the nerd kid's first name. I only remember Toji's. So, and this is what I wrote down because they keep
yeah.
saying
It's
Suzuhara and
Kensuke.
Ida.
Yeah, it's Toji Suzuhara and Kensuke Ida. And don't forget the other character who is a friend who will show up more importantly later is Hikari, the class president, the class rep.
I
I don't mean to
assume
veer too far off track, but what is it with Japanese names? Calling people by the last name and like you've had like a certain of honor, someone you call by their first.
anyway. Um, I like seeing the impacts, the human impacts of the angel attacks and stuff. Like I like seeing these like normal people discussing it, these kids, and like seeing Suzuhara's anger at his sister being injured in the attack, even though it's like this horrific otherworldly thing.
And he takes that out on Shinji.
He does.
Well, people need someone to blame.
Well, before we get there,
Shinji's the only person around them that they have who's involved.
yeah, because when they're sitting there in class, not paying attention to this lecture that they're all supposed to be listening to about the second impact, uh, they all have like very '90s laptops, which means they're thick, real thick,
Thick laptop.
and they
I
all have
like
like
those
an inter-class chat program because someone just straight up asks Shinji like, "Were you piloting the robot?" And he just answers yes.
Real discreet. Yes, it was me who piloted the robot.
Yes, and everyone freaks out. Though it was funny because I watched fuck I've watched these two episodes like three times. Um,
Not have a mind.
twice twice originally, once to watch it and then once to take notes, and then I watched it again today on Netflix just to remind myself what happened because it's been a couple weeks.
It's been a while.
Yeah, and it was funny to see the different that shock scene in English and in Japanese.
Oh, did you watch it with the English dub?
I did watch it with the English dub
Wow. Is
just
that
to hear
disrespectful, John?
I've done both. It's fine. Here's the thing that I've gone over. It's just as I've gotten older and like some stuff has like the older when it comes to dubs for me, it mostly goes along with if it's old stuff that I grew up with, I still want the dub because I remember the voices
Yeah,
in my
I
head.
watch most anime in English. I know with some shows it's
Yeah.
just easier for me because I want to focus on the art more than the actual dialogue, if you know what I mean.
I just sometimes want to come home and not read anything. That's
yeah.
my
Same. I mean, if
my
I'm going to read
break.
anything, I'd rather be reading a movie than I would an animation.
Yeah. But sometimes you have to go with the sub because there's no
Yeah,
other way to
with the
do it.
OG, you need
Yeah.
you need the accurate experience.
Yeah. But a lot of people still complain about the Netflix dub, which is
It's very
understandable.
sleepy. It's very sleepy.
But
Yeah, it'd be like me if I was doing Evangelion because I want
but
what
I
I'm doing.
feel like at this point in the show, it's a very sleepy show until like stuff kicks in.
I mean, compared to the original performances.
Yes.
Wait, but that's 90s anime. It's all
No,
over the top camping.
right, but I mean, Cowboy Bebop was '90s anime, and it's directed expertly. Like you can, the unless we're talking about like Magical Girl or like super hyper
Yeah, but that's
action.
different because I watch it.
Unless we're talking about the like super hyper stuff, like there's some real direction and stuff going on here, even in those original performances. Um, I think the Netflix dub is sleepy. I'll still take it over the '90s dub because it's just so much older dubbed anime is so obnoxious. It's like the same six voices and one of them's super hype. But the Netflix dub isn't terrible. It's just I know
No,
there's some weird translation stuff.
which is a can of worms in itself. Just like whoever, it all comes down to whoever's in charge and their interpretation.
Yeah.
That's translation. Um,
So
did we
everyone's
talk about
super impressed that Shinji is the pilot, except for Ida and Suzuhara. And Suzuhara punches Shinji because of his sister.
Koji is not happy about any of this?
No. And then everyone's evacuated because another angel shows up, and it's a weird flying manta snake penis thing.
It's a dick.
Big old dick.
It's a
It's
big old dick.
it's like a jellyfish dick.
The angel of the week this week is Shem Shell. S
Why don't
H
you tell us a
A
little bit about
M.
Sam Shell?
Sam Shell is a reference to. Hold on a second. What is its thing? I forgot its base. What it's based off of.
The end.
Yeah, no, sorry. My
Professional.
extensive notes on these angel names are kind of. I just know more about the angel, like what they are, than like what they're based off. It's fine. Continue on, Dick Monster.
Dick monster. Um, and I do like the fact that we have this like this power chord and this 5 minute limitation stuff because I feel like it grounds this mecha anime more in reality than a lot of mechas because it's like yeah we built this giant robot but technology still hasn't caught up to what we need for this thing to function properly. So you got
It's a
this big
retro future, David.
yeah it's cool. So
Yeah.
Shinji's trying to take it out as quick as possible, but he gets overzealous and he shoots at the angel too much, and it creates a bunch of debris and smoke, and it
Wait,
conceals
Tom.
it.
Do you? I don't. I'm gonna have to argue with you there. I don't think he's getting overzealous. I think he just turned off his brain and went into training.
He's just trying to kill it. Yeah, he's not thinking. He's just going. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Just
because
kill
it's
mode.
pretty. He just like he doesn't have like he has the
I
same
mean, does
look.
Shinji have some sort of like buzzword or something?
No.
I no, I don't think so.
No, I mean he's got like a little mantra for himself. Just center, pull trigger.
I will not run away.
I will not run
Um,
away. Yeah.
and it's going well, but
Well, it's
he
not
kind of
because
just
it after he obscures it, one of its tentacle things lashes out and breaks his gun,
so
and
that's 5 minutes on the clock.
he panics, and yeah, the power disconnects. And in the middle of all of this, Ida's like, "Hey, let's get out of the shelter and go watch this fight because there's a chance we could just die anyway. So let's see what's going on."
And then that goes along with the weird thing that the government is doing, in which people know that there are angels out there, but the different this information is just really spreading as far and wide. So it's just like, especially if, I think the people who live in Tokyo 3 have an idea of it, but like all of their everything they're doing is being watched in such a way. So even if they say anything about it, it just gets displaced and that it just doesn't come out. It's sort of a lot of censorship going on because it's sort of just like they know that there's angels out there, but there's no proof that there are angels out there outside of Tokyo 3.
Well, and there's we didn't mention it, but there's that moment at the beginning of this episode when Ida's talking to the class rep. I think it was this episode about the casualties. How like the government said there were no casualties, and Ida's like, listen, there was this attack, and we like saw the damage, and like what happened. Like that's not possible. Like there were definitely injuries, if not at least like some casualties.
Nope, no one's ever seen it. There's no record of it. It's all redacted. All right, carry on.
Yeah. So yeah, so there's definitely this weird that level of like government control going on for sure. I mean, Tokyo 3 is basically just a nerve base with other some people in it for some reason.
Yep. Uh,
Some
five
people have to
minutes.
cook and shit. Yeah, 5 minutes. So we see like they find Aida and Suzuhara end up in the middle of the attack, and Shinji sees them, and so he goes to try to protect them instead of just attacking the angel, and it's not going well. So uh, um, they're debating what to do back in Nerve headquarters, and Misato's like, let them get in the plug, the pilot plug, the cockpit, basically,
The entry plug.
the entry plug. And Ritsuku's like, no way, you can't do that. It's you don't have authorization. And Misato's like, well, I'm authorizing it. So we get a brief joke where they have to get in, and they're like, what the fuck is this? It's liquid. And Ida's concerned about his camera. And so they get in the cockpit and they tell Shinji to evacuate, and we'll plug it back in and come back and keep fighting. And he goes berserk, pulls out his vibro knife, and attacks the angel.
And
Totally
that
triple X Vin Diesel slides down a hill, slides down a non like smooth hill, and yeah, stabs the angel right in its gem thingy. Screaming. Oh, and he's screaming the whole time.
that scream is echoed into my head the entire time because it's not a scared scream. It's not a like cool guy scream. It is a very primal, cornered animal with only a couple of things to go type of scream.
It's equal parts terror and rage.
Yeah, it's truly animalistic.
Yeah, and it's intense.
Yeah. Isn't isn't that how the oh no, I was gonna say like isn't that how the episode ends?
Well, it's he's stabbing it, and like there's like sparks flying off, and like we're just watching because I think he starts stabbing it with like 30 seconds left on the clock,
Yeah.
and so he's just stabbing it for like slowly impaling this thing for 30 seconds, and right as the timer runs out, it dies. The angel, and the
Covered
robot.
in blood.
Yeah, it's really intense, and like it's this really interesting moment too because Ida and Suzuhara get to see like I mean I don't know what they're thinking like they can tell like this is taking a toll on him, but it's also like what the fuck is going on with Shinji besides that.
Yeah. And that kind of goes into our next episode.
Yeah,
But
so the episode ends with Shinji hasn't gone to school for several days, and Suzuhara is worried about him, and Ida's like, well, if you're really like, it's because you shouldn't have hit him. If you didn't hit him, you wouldn't be this worried, and or if you would have just apologized for hitting him. And Einstein. Someone does not like this talk.
I would just like to put out a little note here that
Yes.
during the battle, Ava Unit One's hand gets burned off,
Yes.
and once again shows us some really gross humanoid hands.
Yeah, below its weird armor glove, its gauntlets. Um,
Yeah,
and then so yeah, so the episode ends with Suzuhara going to dial Shinji's number, and he like punches in the numbers but doesn't hit dial, and it just and it's raining. There's a lot of rain these two episodes. A lot of real summery feelings, and I mean Japanese summer from the way it's pictured kind of reminds me of like Florida summer, except with different bugs.
Cicadas are giant. All the bugs are huge.
Yes.
It's like walking through a swamp.
Um, but yeah, so then we get into episode 4, which is Run, Escape, and Afterwards, and the Hedgehog's Dilemma, which was actually discussed in episode 3.
Really, I have a different title for for this, which is Rain and After. Did you say Rain and After Running Away?
Oh, really? What's your title?
Oh, I have Rain and After Running Away.
Oh,
Both titles great. Hedgehog's Dilemma.
yes. Um, so Shinji's been skipping school for a while now, and Misato wakes up. The episode opens with Misato waking up, and in just like a pile of blankets in like a ball on her bed.
No, I think she does the thing that I do occasionally, which is I'm gonna leave a shell for me to come into every night when I go to bed. It's the comforter, and then as soon as I return to bed, the comforter comes all the way over. When I leave, it gets pushed all the way to the side. I understand, Masato. I know how millennials work. No one makes their bed. I refuse to make a bed.
I have Misato has been growing on me because I finally figured out what her purpose is. Because she's the only adult we've seen with any fucking humanity in her. Because she's
True.
like we see her.
It's almost like she's a character.
Like you mean a person, a real person?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we. Oh, and I didn't mention. I have it in my notes here too. So Jamie and I are watching the original dub for the most part, but we're also watching the episode previews, which are interesting. And so the episode preview at the end of episode 3 for episode 4 specifically states that there would be more fan service in this episode. And there is none. Unless you count the brief scene where they're like med scanning Ray, and I hope to God that's not what they're counting, because that's it's not like A, she's 14 gross, and B, um that's not what
Well, anime logic.
that's
As
not
long as you
what
have the mind of a 34-year-old, it's
when
fine.
they say fan service, it doesn't mean just like TNA. It usually means like weird, sexy anime poses and stuff. There's none of that. So the way I'm interpreting this is that they promised it in the episode preview, knowing there was none, just to fuck with people, and I like that.
The show, the early on,
Setting
is
your
fucking people.
expectations.
Yes. Because so Shinji's run away. Suzuhara and Ida show up at him and Masato's apartment to check on Shinji, and like you could tell, like she
Because
is
he hasn't been
upset.
going to school.
Yeah, she is upset that he's gone, and we see. I like. It's nice to see how much she actually does care about. I mean, they don't know each other like super well, but she like is really concerned about what he's going through because of all of the shit he's going through.
So I think there's something you missed on early on in which she goes to his room and his ID badge and a letter is there.
Yes, I didn't note that. Did not.
So that sounds like quitter. Not to say quitters talk, but that sounds like here is my 2 weeks. Goodbye.
Yes. And he's doing a thing Josh and I can relate to, which is listening to the same tape over and over and over again as he's running away. I am not nostalgic for not being paralyzed by choice all the time. I mean, it was kind of nice not being paralyzed by choice, but
Why can't I relate to that?
Just fucking pick something.
I do pick stuff because you were never a teenager in an era where you didn't have without smartphones and shit.
True.
Sure.
That's why
Stop
you can't
reminding me how
relate
young
to
I
that
am.
because literally you're younger. Shut up.
Stop
Come back when the
reminding
street.
me.
Come back when the street lights are on. Street lights are on for 30 minutes. Oh no.
What have we done?
Where is my child?
Um, so he literally takes which I didn't realize at first. He's on the loop line, so he's on a train that's just going in circles, and he stays on the train until it goes out of service. Um,
Yep. And he deals with rush hour. He deals with like when kids are out of school. He deals with like the entire train lifestyle.
if by deal with you mean the only thing is he does is rewind the tape he's listening to replay it and then stare into the middle distance.
Like I do when I listen to music.
David, that's called depression.
I know it's called depression.
When I was a child and watched this, I didn't know it was depression.
You were
Oh,
watching this when you were a child?
Not when I was a child, but when I was in high school, I was like, "Yo, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? What's wrong? He doesn't want to pilot the cool robot." And as a 28-year-old, just sitting there being like, "Oh, I see this now.
Shinji is
Why does nobody?
depressed.
Why did no one tell me about this?
Why did no one
why
prepare
did
me for adult life?
why did no one prepare me for depression?" I'm
Um,
sorry, I'm laughing.
you're laughing at your own our own sadness.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Um,
Hey, we're here to talk to you in this anime about depression. No, I'm not about that. Where are the robots, fighting and the girls with the weird
We're the
underboob? I'm
big,
here for that.
we're the
Where,
big anime titty, yo. Give
So
me
where
some
are
of
the
that.
where
I
where are
don't
the
care. Don't care about no sadness.
where are the boobs and the good animation? Naruto has that. This doesn't have that. Naruto doesn't have depression.
so
No, Naruto is for people with depression.
we haven't mentioned
You
it
watch
yet,
Naruto if you are depressed.
but
Sorry.
so
I'm crying
if you
laughing. That
can't
was really
tell
funny.
just by the cadence of our discussion, I've at least I mean we'll see how the rest of the series goes, but I've turned a page on the series based on these two episodes. I as we discussed last time, both Jamie and I had a lot of issues with the first two episodes while still liking
Yeah,
parts of them. I
yeah,
really liked these two episodes.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just they're and I felt like when you kept saying, "Oh, David, you don't like slice of life," I'm like, "Well, this is slice of life, and I love it. It's just not the traditional goofy
Oh
comedy slice of life.
no, this is
This is
I.
real. This is what dealing with this would
If
be
it
like."
ain't like Twin Peaks, it ain't real slice.
Hey, I'm gonna go to the movie theater. I'm not. I don't know what movie this is. There are people hooking up in front of me. I feel nothing.
Was that I feel nothing, or was that
Oh,
Shinji being creepy? Because it looked like it was him being creepy.
I thought that was an attack against me.
No.
No, no, it's because
Um.
he goes to that like empty movie
Yeah,
theater.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it just I don't know the way he looked at those people fooling around was weird.
But he eventually like. I think this is the part that gets different from like some of the rebuilds. Uh, I forgot that he goes into like the woods basically, and he meets up with what's he want, Suzara,
No, no, Ida.
Ida,
Yeah.
and it's just like, what are you doing out here? Oh, I come out here to play my war games because I can't play them in the city, so I come out here and play them by
Well,
myself.
so we do before they meet up. We do cut back to Ritsuko and Misato discussing like the fact that Shinji's run away, and Ritsuko's like, "Well, get him back," and Misato is saying, like we can't force him to do this. Like he is a person, and this is really like messing. Like this is really bothering him. It's really fucking up his head. And we really see that like Misato's the only one who actually cares about Shinji as a person. Like, I mean, I think Ida and Suzuhara do kind of now, but the only adults in this situation that seem to give a shit about, or the only adult that seems to give a shit about him is Misato, whereas everyone else is just seeing him as a means to an end. Because this is where they also specifically state that only 14-year-olds can pilot Evas, which is
And
very
they don't really
weird.
say why.
They don't say why. Also, what happens when they turn 15?
I don't. Let's
I know the show is
not.
going to end before that happens, but what if it didn't? What if the angel attacks were spread out more?
Then they would be replaced.
That's so weird. I will get there, I guess.
Everyone is replaceable, David.
Yes. So yeah, so we see Ida and Shinji like spend some time together. We find out that Ida doesn't have a mother either. Um and like they bond a little bit. And also it's like Shinji's trying to understand what it's like to be a normal kid.
Aren't we all?
Cuz Ida's out here playing a Vietnam movie by himself
Alone.
alone. Well, yeah.
That's
No
me. That's
one to greet
me.
him.
And I mean, which is fine and
I
stuff,
am
but like he's
Shinji.
just out, having some fun by himself. And
We am Shinji.
yeah, and Shinji's like, "Are you training for guerrilla warfare?" And I was like, "No, these are toys. I'm just having fun." And then they like camp out in a little tent, and when they wake up, Nerve is there to bring Shinji back, and in a super creepy way.
It's
Cause
straight up just like lights, men in black suits with ties. All right.
and like prisoner formation, because they've surrounded him.
He's. I'm sorry, David. He's an asset.
I
He
know.
he is he is Nerve's asset.
We own you.
They own him.
And then so Shinji decides to leave for good. Um,
Packing up his goddamn
he's
bags.
packing up his goddamn bags. Suzuhara shows up to have Shinji punch him in the face to even it out because he's sorry, but he can't just say he's sorry. He needs to be punched as well. Uh, and then like Shinji goes to hit him, and he's like, "Wait! Don't hold back. Like you have to hit me. Like I hate you." And then he does
Tyler
it,
Durden?
and it seems like they're friends now. Um, though I can definitely tell this is a situation where yeah, it's great Shinji's getting friends, but he's still going through so much and there's so much in his head that he is not going to get any better because of this. He might get temporarily better, but it's not a fix. But then
So,
he doesn't get on the train.
no. Okay, can I talk about one of my, this is like, I don't like the first couple episodes of Evangelion. Like the first episode is great.
Did you just
Second
say
episode,
Evangelion?
I Evangelion,
Evangelon.
No, it's
Evangelion.
Evangelion, Jamie.
No, what does Robin Williams say? Is it Evangelon?
Listen, there's somebody who I work with who's named like Ava, and it's Eva, but I've been calling her Ava and Eva. It's hard. Okay, I'm not doing it anymore. But
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I got your name confused with this sexy anime show. I'm
I didn't
sorry.
want to say it out loud. I in my head I was like I was gonna tell her, but anyway. So
In my head, I
I
was going to
think
tell her, and then I thought about it and realized that's a bad idea.
so. The moment where Shinji doesn't get on the train is a really great example of just the cinematography of Evangelion because it's train whizzes by, shot Shinji there, shot back to like Misato by her car, shot to Shinji's face smiling, and then back to the wide shot. And that shot goes on for a while with like the cicadas in the background, and it's just like no dialogue, no anything, and it's sort of just like it. The way that it goes, it gives us a little shine that Shinji is now officially down for this, and
Well,
it's sort of like the
we get because Misato shows up to say goodbye, and she's technically too late, except the fact that he didn't leave.
yeah.
But then he tells her, "I'm home," and she says, "Welcome home," and because
She just want
I've been on the internet in the past 15 years. I know how important this is.
Shinji just wanted a family.
And how weird the "I'm home, welcome home" thing's gonna get.
I just know that look, man, Shinji just wants someone to care about him. That's what it basically comes down to.
He does, and he's found a person, even though she's still responsible for making sure he gets in the fucking robot.
Yeah. Did we talk about Gendo switching out Unit 1 to be configured for Ray?
No, they mentioned that when he's gonna leave.
Yeah. Which becomes a common thing of redoing Unit 1 to work for Ray.
Which I thought Unit 1 isn't supposed to work for Ray.
It does. It just doesn't do it as well as Shinji.
Oh. Where's Unit 0?
Unit 0 does not come until next episode.
Okay.
It's currently... It'll be discussed.
Disgust.
Yeah.
That's where we're going. Okay.
You'll get there.
So yeah, so I really, really liked these 2 episodes. And I really hope we get more of this. I know it gets weird in anime again when
But
Asuka
this is...
shows up.
Yeah. This is also one of the few episodes without any robot battling angels. This is a very in between angel attacks, because right now the series just makes it feel like they come every day, but there is an unannounced amount of time between angel attacks and like what is Nerve doing
Well,
or Niv.
in episode 3 they said it's been like 2 or 3 weeks. I can't remember which one, but they
Yeah,
specifically say like it was 15 years last time and now it's only 2 weeks. But I don't know that could be just to say like they're acknowledging that. I don't know if they'll keep saying that. Like, so, though again, Josh has actually seen the whole show. But yeah, Jamie, what'd you think? Because you're the like the one who's always naysaying anime. Jamie.
Jamie.
Oh, sorry. I was in the middle. I was blanking out there. No, I am the one who's always naysaying anime because I'm not that big of a weeb.
You are
My
the
my
biggest
weedom is
weeb
reserved for
here.
movies. My weedom is reserved for movies,
It's still Japanese
not
culture.
baby shit.
Weeaboos aren't just for
Nah,
anime.
nothing.
It just happens to be that's the thing most Americans or white people get obsessed with when it comes to Japanese culture.
Yeah, because it's white people of mankind. This is why we failed as a race, David.
Will you shut up and tell us what you thought?
Anime ruined white people.
So you're blaming the downfall of Western civilization on anime.
Yeah.
Nah.
This is what happens every time we take something from another cool show. We end up fucking
Okay.
it
So
up.
you're not blaming everything. You're not blaming this on anime. You're blaming this on Kappa Mikey.
What is going on right now,
No idea.
guys?
I
Why
think,
are
I
you
think
doing
it may have
this
just
to
had
me?
like a mini stroke before
Will
I started
you
talking
talk
again.
about the stupid episodes?
I
All right, fine. I guess we're done.
That was eventful.
Jamie wants to go on tangents instead of discussing the episodes. So,
who doesn't love a good tangent though?
but yeah. So I'm really excited to see what happens next. I know like the next 2 episodes are all about Rey, which is exciting because she's very
Okay.
mysterious.
Oh, the next 2 episodes are actually some of my favorites.
Good.
Episode 5 and 6.
Yes.
The title of the next episode is Ray Beyond the Heart, or Ray 1.
And then
And
6
then
is
episode 6 is Decisive Battle in Tokyo 3, or Ray 2.
Oh my god.
this one doesn't have as
I
good
was not
second
expecting
titles.
that.
For
Oh,
sure.
these titles are great.
Ray 1 and 2 are not great. The other 2 are fantastic.
Ray
But-
1 and 2, they sound like they're like the alternate titles for Star Wars.
What alternate titles for Star Wars? Oh, because they
Yeah.
were just numbers?
No, because Ray.
Oh. No, that's a bad joke. Stop it. Stop
Star
it.
Wars, Disney Plus, November 12th.
Hey man, I just watched Resistance and that's a pretty good show.
Hey, I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see Werner Herzog in Star Wars.
Me too. That's
That's
gonna
gonna
be
be
great. Anyway, that's not anime.
Was he in Rick and Morty? Sorry for going off.
That's not anime. Shut up. So we're done for this week. We'll be back next week with um with episodes 5 and 6. Um, we're fine. We're progressing. No more weddings or surprise vet visits or anything. We should be able to keep going on a regular
Or
basis now.
birthdays.
Thank God. Um, waiting 6 to 8 weeks to get past 4 episodes has sucked, and I messaged Jamie right before we started. I was like, "Is this what waiting for the rebuilds is like?"
No,
I know it's
it's much,
not.
much. It's listen. I was in high school when I got I pre-ordered the Amazon copy of 3.3. Do you know when I received it? When I graduated college.
Wow.
And when are you gonna see 4?
It's like when I. It's like when I pre-ordered. It's like when I pre-ordered the Criterion at the store. Like I pre-ordered it like when I was starting college, or I got it when college is high school.
I mean, Josh, should we bring up Kingdom Hearts?
Oh no, bye.
Nope, I'm not. I'm not. Don't go fucking bring me into this Kingdom Hearts bullshit.
Yeah, it's like
It took forever.
easy,
What
easy
about Duke
blow.
Nukem Forever? It also took forever, but was not worth it.
Ooh, Dude, Nick Forever, a game I like.
No, you shut up.
Well, it's just as good as Box Office Birth.
Okay, we're done. We're done here. Bye, everyone.
Fucking Kingdom Hearts.